better Nigeria? Is it a myth or do we keep hoping?
Nigeria is a highly religious country. How come corruption thrives?
Why is adoption not encouraged in Nigeria?
Is there a future for the Nigerian youth?
Being rich and famous, is that the only drive to be an artist?
What makes a great nation? Is it the leaders? What about the people?
This is Answers with Dr. Reju.
Good evening. My name is Bobby, and I'm sitting in for Obi today. This is Answers with Dr. Reju, where critical life issues are clarified. You're welcome. And with me in the studio today are the regulars, Dr. Reju.
Thank you, Bobby.
Isaac.
Thank you, Bobby.
And Matt.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right, and we have a female here today with us in the person of Vash.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. So last week we talked about the role of parents, and we talked about the involvement in the educational settings where people, the young people especially, will be enlightened about their civic responsibilities. Matt, would you like to say something?
Yeah, well, when you asked that question last week, I kept thinking, it's one thing to get these kids educated at home, and then it's another thing to have them go out there and get another form of education. And that's, generated the question, which I think Dr. Reju can clarify. What are these factors that affect civic education? A child is educated at home, concerning his country, and he goes out there, maybe on the street, about, taking a bus or something, and then he hears something else. I'll give you an example. Okay. I was coming from school when I was in the university, and then there was this guy seated, by my side, and we were talking generally about how government officials loot the country's treasury and all of that. And he said, I'm very happy they're stealing from the treasury, because when he gets there, he's going to pack everything. I started wondering, okay, I know that what this guy is saying is wrong.
Yeah.
But I've been properly educated from home.
Yeah.
And this is, goes contrary to what I know. How then, I'm supposed to... So my question really is what are these factors? We need to be aware of them. And then how do we position ourselves properly so that we know what is accurate? Because, we can be taught wrongly even from home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know.
The whole essence of education is to be, able to get firmly rooted in a particular mindset, right?
Yes.
And when you are firmly rooted, a conviction is built, and when that conviction is built, you are positioned to be able to know what's wrong and what's right. So, being educated is that you have been enabled to know what's right and what's wrong. So, to answer your question, to be properly educated civically doesn't mean that you will not be open to contrary opinions.
Okay.
But your education will let you know that this is contrary.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't get you immune from hearing what's wrong. You are educated when you are able to know that this is wrong.
Okay.
Right? So what we should be talking about is how strong, is the way we educate the young ones civically. And one of the ways of doing that is to let them know that when they see a particular problem, it is because somebody has not been responsible civically. That anywhere you see problem, in fact, the fact that you hear that kind of a narrative from somebody, apparently older than you, right? It is that person, like I said on this program maybe last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, that nobody wants to go into crime. Society throws up criminals. Defective society throws up criminals. So that guy has been in that particular, he has arrived at that conclusion because he's become helpless. So you cannot say that I have taught my child how to be patriotic. Now, the strength of that teaching is that when he or she meets an unpatriotic person, he or she will not be influenced.
But Dr. Reggie, that it's one thing to know you're properly trained, right? It's another thing to, be able to stand, amongst people that don't have that same orientation and
Absolutely.
then live accurately.
Yeah.
For instance, you see the taxi drivers. They always have this. They always have this challenge when they see a road safety official.
Yeah.
They believe that, right? It is their right to drive one, and then I don't need to have my papers. So when the road safety official is stopping them, they believe this guy just hates them. So to that person, he believes that they are trying to mess up my business.
It is still a product or a problem of not being civically, educated. Because that person does not know the benefit of his vehicle being properly registered. He can't see a benefit in it. It's a burden, right? But when the society is properly structured and that person has been orientated to know, and there's something else that I said, the last time when I tied this issue of civic responsibility to law enforcement and judiciary, right?
Okay.
It's, they all tie together. That if I don't, for example, insure my car, I am not only putting myself at risk, I'm also putting other road users at risk. But I'm covered. I need to be able to see a benefit in my nation prospering, progressing, for me to be able to get, patriotic. So people, it borders on this thing that we're hammering here. People are ignorant, right? The road safety guy is ignorant because the road safety guy who wants to mount a roadblock and put it in the bend so that the driver coming will just happen on him.
Yeah, he doesn't see.
The guy is not trying to enforce the law. He's trying to look for somebody to punish and maybe take advantage of that person.
Yeah.
When policemen set up roadblocks at places where people cannot run away, they always set up their roadblocks where there are potholes.
Yeah.
Now, the potholes are there because people are not civically educated. The road safety is that, or the road safety of the policeman is that wired because there is no civic education. So the key is that everybody needs to be on the same page.
Wow.
Right? And it has to be, a society has to be structured in such a way that, we just get educated. I pay my tax, right? And I see the benefit. I don't pay my tax and I see the benefit. The policeman that allows somebody who is questionable to pass, you need to also understand that that criminal might kill your son in front. When we understand how our civic irresponsibilities can harm us, right, then it becomes easy.
I don't know why I'm pulling up these examples, but
Yep.
I was stopped by a VIO official and he wanted to check my car for roadworthiness. And I looked at his. I was wondering, is this your car?
His own shack of a
Yes.
car. That
And
is
you-
three-legged.
And you want to check mine. And I've also noticed the trend in probably, this should be something that should go to the officials. I've noticed in town lately, I've been seeing underage riders riding, these commercial tricycles.
Yeah.
And I've been really worried. Sometimes you see a guy 14, 13,
Yeah.
and nothing's been done. And these guys are consistently on the road hacking other people.
You know, when we address or throw up these issues, one thing I've always told people is that don't look for quick fixes because we didn't get here in one day. Don't look for quick fixes. We what we are doing on this program is something that's very foundational. We're just scratching the surface, right? But you see, I believe that it's very difficult to, it's even almost impossible to know what comes first, egg or chicken. That is the conundrum that we're in. If the citizens say, okay, I want to be responsible, I'm going to pay my tax. I pay my tax and the government official steals the money. We're back to, square one.
Yeah.
I don't pay my tax, the government official doesn't have money to provide essential services. We're back to square one. So it's not going to be, but I believe that somebody has to just stoke the fire, right? Let's take a government official for his word. Let's even believe for once that, okay, this is a government of change, right? Let's look away from any kind of, But where it starts from is that where I am, I'm uncomfortable. These guys have promised me some things, and I want to hold them accountable to that. And in holding you accountable, I promise you I'm going to be responsible. Right? And we also stretch this particular issue. Nigerians, we are not yet at that point where we can generate enough anger against our government.
Yeah.
Why? Because we have not been responsible.
Also. Okay, Isaac.
Well, Dr. Reju, previously you said we can't learn civic engagement before engaging society. What other channels can be used there, sir?
In fact, the whole society is a channel. The whole of society. That is, everywhere you go, you must see, from a billboard to a radio jingle to everything that we do, especially in terms of mass communication, media and all those kind of things. I'll give you an example. For those who watch movies, maybe you've seen this movie, Air Force One. How many of you guys have seen it?
Yeah, I have.
Air Force One is about, number one, the story of a terrorist that hijacked the president of America. You see, the primary message of that movie is the greatness of America. That is the message of that movie. The greatness of America. If you look at, for those who actually saw the movie, look at the daughter of the president. The way she spoke to that terrorist. You are not as great as my father. Right? That movie is to tell the world how powerful America is. You can't try us. So an American sees that movie, he loves his country more. Right? He falls in love with his country. He feels so secured. He's so proud of his president, who is, a president who can fly a plane, a president who can take, the whole thing there is not about entertainment. It's to promote the dignity, the power of America. It is to engender in the people a sense of patriotism. So, but look at our movies here. They show our policemen as weaklings, as non-entities, right? Fine, you can say that they are trying to show the way things are. I just spoke about this movie Air Force One. America is not that powerful. It is propaganda, right? It's propaganda. Why will North Korea just just choose a particular day and just organize a massive parade where they show off their arsenal, right? So from movies to jingles to phrases in school to everywhere you go. How many places do you go to, for example, in Jos, and there's a T-shirt that says Jos is a city of peace or center of tourism, right? Do we have such souvenirs where people can buy and wear with pride? When somebody, maybe a tourist will come into Jos and go away with souvenirs. You see, those are the kind of things. We only produce movies that show how stupid we are. We produce movies that shows how clueless we are. It is good to show that to us. But you know that, for example, Nollywood has gone to the world. What have we shown the world about Nigeria? Now, when a young person watch that kind of movie, he should be able to pick a sense of pride that is a Nigerian.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Reju. We'll have to take a commercial break right now, and when we are back, we'll continue with this discussion. This is just a scratch of the foundational issues that we are addressing. Thank you.
There are cooking oils and there are cooking oils, Of course. There are those that foam like soap when you put them on fire. And there are those that go to sleep after a few days. There are even those with funny odors that make neighbors wonder what's happening in your kitchen.
I beg, don't kill me.
But then again, there is Grand Pure Soya Oil, made from pure soya seed. Grand Pure Soya Oil is cholesterol-free, which makes it ideal for the heart and health conscious. It neither foams nor fumes, neither does it congeal even at low temperature. Grand Pure Soya Oil is also endorsed by the Nigerian Heart Foundation as heart-friendly oil.
Let me go and get my own Grand Pure Soya Oil, Joe. Oil that doesn't smell or sleep.
Grand Pure Soya Oil, a heart-friendly oil you've always known.
Welcome back. This is Answers with Dr. Reju, where critical life issues are clarified. You can continue with us on the discussion on 081 4456 9000. Don't call us now, but just send us a WhatsApp chat. You can also like our Facebook page, Answers with Dr. Reju. The Reju is spelled R-E-J-U. R-E-J-U. This discussion today has been centered around the civic responsibilities of not just only the young people, but also the elderly ones, and how it enters into the society properly. Vash has a question.
Dr. Reju, I want to ask, how has the media affected our belief system as Nigerians? And what are some of the benefits and drawbacks that the media has had on us as a people?
Media basically shape people's minds. They teach us how to think. They are the one that give us what to believe, and media now, with a wide spectrum. There's a seminar I used to have in those days. I call it, media, mind, movies, and the media. Because those things are all connected. Because you are what you read, you are what you see, you are what you listen to. So you watch it on television, you read in the newspapers, you read something on the internet. But you see, in maybe if you go to communist countries like China and in those kind of places, they use the media, they control the media because they want to be able to achieve a particular kind of people. I remember when I was in the university, some Russian students came on this kind of student exchange. They came to our school and they came and then they invited us to go and spend time with them on their ship. So when we got there, they were not allowed to just freely interact with us because we are freer than them, right? They are not that free, and they had to structure the kind of interaction that we have with them. The point I'm trying to make is that we have not been that intentional with our media, right? Yeah. Although there are regulatory bodies, but they are slacking. Media is supposed to create an atmosphere. Media is supposed to educate. Yeah. Media is supposed to promote, that level of patriotism. I just give you an example of a movie produced, right? To actually show how great, how powerful America is. We should have such movies here too. We should be able to have, how many today, so we're not really using the media for the, for the right purposes, but it used to be like that. There are, I remember in this country, if you want to be a minister, one of the things you do when they screen you is that you sing the national anthem. And it was big then that some ministerial nominees couldn't sing it. Right? It was big. Yeah. But today, media, especially in this part of the world, rather than educating, they actually promote ignorance. The only thing you read on Facebook, we said something on this, on this program, that there was a survey done that most Nigerians and Africans who go on the internet, over 90% of them go to Facebook. That in the Western nations, over 95 to 98% of them, they go on Google. So you can see the difference that some people are learning while some are just peddling rumors and listening to stupid stories. So there is a whole, kind of environment created now to numb people's brains, to make them so numb. So we're not deep. And today we say the world has become a global village. What an opportunity to learn. But you see, people are learning, but it's just at a very slow pace because that thing is not structured to educate. So we're not really doing good with the media. The regulatory bodies are not doing what they ought to do. I get all manner of text messages that are meaningless because the regulatory bodies don't control those kind of things. When you have, a bank that's doing promo that you will win a car and all those kind of things, those things numb people's brains. There was a time it really got out of hand where one, network provider said people will win a jet. I think that was when they woke up and they said, this is, You see, what kind of people that, you see, that you don't know what that does to people. That you will buy a scratch card of 500 naira and you win a jet. You see, that has a lot to do with killing people's psyche about hard work.
Promotes greed.
It promotes greed.
Covetousness.
It promotes, so those are the kind of things that shouldn't be allowed. And then, we must keep talking about the regulations, the law enforcement, the judiciary. When people have easy access, I've received a lot of calls that are, doesn't make sense. I don't have any channel of complaint. I don't have. I get frustrated. There's no way. It's so difficult to be patriotic in Nigeria. But you see, we don't have any other country apart from this. So we must start from somewhere. I believe the way we should start this, we're already down, right?
Yeah.
So they say he that is down doesn't need to be afraid of falling. We're already down there, and we have to accept this country for what it is. Hold, government officials and public figures, to account.
Accountable.
And then you have to show that by being responsible. So we're not doing well with the media. We're not doing well.
Dr. Reggie, I'm looking at all you're saying right now from the standpoint of, how media has helped in the, construction of, public belief.
Yeah.
And I want to, push it away from, the civic, talk to morality. And it's something I think is not disconnected from our general perception as Nigerians. So we've seen a lot of crazy things, on international media, but bringing it home now to Nigeria, do you think the media has helped in any way? Because if you listen to NTA, for instance, you know that someone in government scripted this. This is just to promote the government of the day. Now, looking at, morality, how the media has helped in the construction of our moral values, do you think they've done a good job? And is this disconnected from the way we see, our social lives generally?
Let me pick it from where you said something about NTA, somebody scripted. All news items all over the world are scripted. So it's not peculiar to us. They are scripted, right? And they are designed to make you think in a particular way, But it's dangerous in our own society because we have not been taught critical thinking. We have not been developed to look at divergent opinions and arrive at a decision, from the way we practice our politics, from the way we conduct our businesses, from the way we do all that. So everywhere you go, right, there are media houses, they're either pro or con a particular kind of agenda or whatever. So it's not peculiar to us. But the point is, we need to develop the citizenry to a point where everything we see is an option. It's something that is it's an offering.
Yeah.
They are offering me, they are not forcing me.
Yeah.
But in a society where people are largely ignorant, they don't have, a choice. It's whatever they see. Imagine when, somebody doesn't have any other option than watching NTA. Right. When cable TV is for the elite.
Yeah.
It's not within the reach of ordinary people.
Expensive luxury.
So it's because if you look at what DSTV does to us in Nigeria, if you watch DSTV in South Africa, it's totally different. The services that are available to them in South Africa is totally different. So here is just a ripoff. Yeah. It's a ripoff. So it's really a serious challenge, but it's not impossible to solve, right? So right now we have weak regulation, we have weak legal system. Those things, because you mentioned morality. In the same way, when you see immorality, you can't have a society where there is absolute morality. But immorality must be seen to be immorality. Yeah. That comes by education. Right? So that when you accept immorality as your standard, you are making a choice, right? Knowing the consequences. So you can't eradicate, because when people talk about corruption, we are going to eradicate corruption, that in itself is a corrupt statement. Because you can't eradicate it. You can only punish the corrupt, because there are many corrupt people who will go scot-free. But we are looking at a society where corruption doesn't rule, where corruption is not the order of the day. We can't eradicate, but it gets to a point where there was a photograph my sister sent to me, and in that photograph, a lady wore topless, right? And in that particular photograph, there was a disclaimer. There was a warning before I opened the picture. They alerted me that there is nudity, right? That's in a society where things are properly structured. So that if I see the warning about nudity and I still go ahead, I am making a choice. An informed choice, right? You see a movie, that's why movies are classified. And if you look at when we put our Nollywood movies in the global stage, all of them are PG-16. All of them. Because of the language, none of them by global rating is fit for a child. None. Right? If you set your PG on DSTV to 16, you will not be able to watch African Magic. Yeah, you tried. All of them. It's not fit for children. Do you know that, for example, in the UK, children are not allowed to watch Mr. Bean? For those who know Mr. Bean. Yeah. Because they grow up like fools. Yeah. So those are the kind of things, but, let me give you another example here. There's a UK channel that's on our DSTV, CBBS, right? CBBS is a BBC children channel. Here is 24/7. In the UK, they close down at 7. Right? Here it runs 24/7. In the UK, they close at 7. My baby gets there and is crying that they are closing. Because here, she will leave the TV to go and sleep. So, but what am I doing on my part as a parent? I need to find a way where that thing also closes at 7 by using the on and off button. Yeah. That's it. But you see a society that is, and the last program, they sing a lullaby for the baby to sleep. Right? So it is so structured. And these are the kind of places we say that there's a high level of immorality. They protect the vulnerable. They protect the vulnerable. So we still have that challenge, of really not censoring, but regulating, so that media does the job that it's supposed to do, which is education. And every kind of movie production, news item that malign this country should be punished. In fact, you can't come in here, there's, it got to a time, we're doing, missionary work in Coma Hills in those days and all those kind of things. And people go there to go and take pictures of naked people, people who don't wear clothes, and they go and use it to go and make money abroad. Those things are not regulated. So you go abroad, and the perception people have of Nigeria is that we don't wear clothes. We have to protect what's wrong with our country. So when you see our president going out there and saying that Nigerians, come here and they are accused of crime, that's a very uncharitable statement. You must be able to sing, because there are good things about Nigeria. Yeah. We should amplify that. Every nation, they have their secrets. They don't let you see that. You can't go somewhere and go and take pictures of Americans sleeping, under the bridge. They sleep under the bridge. They are homeless people. But even when they show it, it is revealed in a very, to make you come into some sort of pity. Yeah. Not to say that is the order of the day. We must not allow anybody come here and video our children running around naked. We shouldn't.
Wow. Today's discussion has been very, very interesting. Thank you so much for listening today. The number again for a chat with us continues on 081 44 56 9000. And that's it for us today. Thank you so much, everyone.